Hello everyone, I think you all are keeping fine and preparing nicely for your boards as well as competitive examination. So dear students, this is the third video related to differentiability. In the previous two videos, I discussed with you the definition as well as geometric interpretation of differentiability. In this video, I am going to discuss a theorem related to differentiability. This theorem is very conceptual and very important topic of differentiability. So all of you pay attention on this theorem. So what is the statement of the theorem? See, the theorem says that if a function f is differentiable at a point C, then it is also continuous at that point. It means, in short, we can say the theorem says that if a function is differentiable at a point C, then this implies that the function will also be continuous at that point. So it means differentiability means that the function is continuous. So how are we going to prove this theorem? So first of all, you see each and every step clearly, and again I'll suggest you keep the copy and pencil with you and write down the steps. So what is given to us? Actually they are saying that the function is differentiable at a point C. We have already discussed the definition of differentiability. If you have not seen that video, then I'm going to send the link in the description box. You can see it. Okay. So if f is differentiable at C, so according to the definition of differentiability, the limit x tends to C fx minus fc upon x minus c equals to f dash c. Okay, so if a function is differentiable at a point C, then we can conclude that this limit exists finitely. Okay, so this can be represented as f of dash c, f of dash c. So it is written here. So this is whatever was given to us, we have written this statement according with the help of this. Okay, now this is actually, you can say, some tricky step, so you just remember this. How are we doing? We can write fx can be written as fx minus fc plus fc. It means what we have done, we have subtracted this quantity as well as added this quantity. So this can be done, there is no problem in that. So is it clear to you? Only this step you just remember, otherwise everything is very easy for you. Just see the next one. After this, what are we going to do? See, we have expressed it in this way, fx equals to fx, and we have subtracted fc and we have added fc. Okay, this is what we have done. So what are we going to do? We are going to keep these two quantity together and plus fc separately, and in this quantity we are going to multiply and divide by x minus c. So this is what we have done here. Just pay attention. Fx equals to fx minus fc. This is here, this one, and then x minus c multiplied and x minus c divided. Okay, and plus then fc, that is written separately. Now on taking limit both sides, we have taken the limit this side and this side, both sides. Then this is limit x tends to c, fx equals to limit x tends to c, this whole quantity as well as plus fc, the whole. As you have studied in the algebra of limits that limit of a plus b can be written as limit of a plus limit of b. So we can write this in this way also, that this we have divided the limit into separate the limit. Okay, according to the rule of algebra of addition of limits. So this is nothing but, from the given statement we have concluded this is nothing but f dash c. And if we apply limit x tends to c in this quantity, if you are going to replace x with c, then what will happen? This becomes 0. Okay, and limit x tends to c, fc is nothing but fc. So this is whole as 0 and this is fc. So what is the conclusion? The conclusion is limit x tends to c, fx equals to fc. So if you remember, if the limit value of the function is equivalent to the value of the function at that point, then we call the function as continuous. then we call the function as continuous function. Okay, so just keep this concept in your mind if you want to prove this theorem, that if you want to prove something continuous means the limit value of that function should be equivalent to the value of the function at that point. So actually our aim is to bring this statement. Okay, so how? For that, what we have done, just see, we have used, first of all, whatever the given statement was, from that we have conclude this, and after that only this thing we have written from our side. Okay, and then simply we have divided this quantity by x minus c and multiply also x minus c. Then on taking limit both sides, this limit will become f dash c, and this, if we are going to apply the limit, this will become 0, and this is as it is fc. So fx limit x tends to c, fx equals to fc. So this is what our conclusion, and this conclusion means that the function is continuous at c. Okay, so now you just see, converse of this theorem is not true. We are saying that function is differentiable. Just pay attention. We are saying that function is differentiable. This implies that function is continuous. Okay, but we are saying that converse of this theorem is not true. Converse means that if function is continuous, you cannot take the guarantee that the function will be differentiable or not. For that, we are going to take one of the example. Just see the example. What is that example? That suppose you take the modulus function. Modulus function mod x is continuous function that everyone knows. Now let's check whether it is differentiable or not. Okay, that we are going to see whether it is differentiable or not. For differentiability, what we do? We take left hand derivative equals to right hand derivative. If both these quantities are different, then we say that the function is not differentiable at that particular point. Okay, so we are the point we have taken as 0. So limit h tends to 0 minus, that is left hand derivative, f0 plus h minus f0 upon h, or our function is mod x. So mod h, obviously that will be minus h will come out, and this upon h. So your result will be minus 1. And in this case means right hand derivative, if you are going to consider the mod h function for 0 positive. For 0 positive, as you know, again just pay attention. You know very well, if the function is mod x can be defined as x for x greater than equal to 0 and minus x for x less than 0. So with the help of this definition, we are concluding here, if the quantity is less than 0, sorry, here it should be 0 minus. Okay, so if the quantity is less than 0, then what we are going to obtain? Minus h, minus x. Okay, and here we are going to get plus h. So minus h upon h is minus 1 and h upon h is 1. Okay, so minus 1 and 1, they are not equal. It means the f is not differentiable at that point. So f is continuous, but f is not differentiable, okay, at 0. So therefore we can conclude that by this counter example we can show that the converse of this theorem does not exist. Okay, so again you just watch this video again, try to understand the theorem, and suppose if it comes in your examination that converse of this theorem is not true, so just show it. So then you can give any counter example. So you can choose the modulus function, that is very easy for you. Just take the modulus function example and just show it. Okay, so thank you so very much, and if you have any query you can post it to me. Thank you.